Gathered here to celebrate the graduation of the Armed Request Class Number 2. My name is Brian Call. I'm the coordinator for the Armed Request Academy. I'm honored to have the opportunity to welcome you here today along with the people that are watching online. First, on behalf of the Armed Request Academy Number 2, I'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony. I also want to express thanks to all the parents, families, and friends for the love and their support, as well to the members of the Los Angeles County Probation Department for their guidance and patience with us. Today we celebrate the graduation of these probation officers. We have committed to joining the Armed on Request ranks. Carrying a firearm is one of the most challenging and rewarding jobs in our department. During the past 8 weeks, they have committed to long hours, hard work, and sacrifice. So please join us as we pay tribute to their efforts. I'd like to turn the time over to our Bureau Chief, Adam Patino.
Thank you. And a special thank you to Supervisor Brian Call for all the hard work that you put in with this crew. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much. And thank you to, as Brian mentioned, thank you to the friends and families who are tuning in. Thank you to the probation staff, some of your colleagues who have sort of been possibly filling in some gaps while you've been here doing all your training. Thank you for all that you're doing to carry the load. Thank you, graduates, for putting in all this time and all this effort. And I'm really here on behalf of your supervisors, your directors, your bureau chiefs, your deputy directors, on behalf of the chief deputies, on behalf of Chief Leyva. We just want to congratulate you and thank you for all the hard work that you've put in. I also want to thank our labor partners who've been really instrumental in ensuring that this is a program that we keep going. 685-702, we want to thank you for advocating for your constituency, making sure that we keep this thing going. So thank you very much for that. And to you all, I really want to thank you and commend you for your commitment to this. There's a lot of information that you've absorbed over the last several weeks, and kind of splitting your duties between your casework, all of your caseloads, all the things that you guys are already doing, and then coming here and having to go through policy updates and all this information that comes at you. I would encourage you guys to keep on learning. As you saw, some of these policies change on a regular basis, something that you want to make sure that you're keeping up to date with. So thank you for your commitment to the training, first of all. And I want to say, also, I want to thank you for your courage and stepping up. Your courage, especially during these times, right? The way that the badge is viewed by some has created new challenges for our profession. And you guys are taking on this extra added kind of commitment to being armed. And right now, given everything that's going on, that's not to be taken lightly. So I commend you for your courage and stepping up in that way and taking on this tremendous responsibility. And thank you, lastly, for your overall commitment to public safety. Thank you for taking this job seriously, for your passion for this role, and everything that you do. I also just want to thank the staff training office in general. All of these things being set up, cleaning the mic, everything that's here is because of the staff training office. We take great pride in being able to put on these ceremonies. We thought maybe we would be away from the distancing and the mask wearing and the need to clean all this stuff, but apparently this is our new reality for a little while. This is like the third or fourth one of these we've done. It started off sort of novel, and now it looks like it's a little bit of the way that we're going to do things. So thank you to the staff training office, taking photos, videoing, doing all this extra work. We really appreciate everything that you guys do for us. So with that, I'll hand it back to Mr. Call. Thank you.
So I'll just talk a little about the training overview. The training academy that the staff went through on the Armed Request consisted of 160 hours. Of those 160 hours, 40 of them were for firearms training. 8 hours were for the firearms policy and use of force policy. We had an AB 109 deadly force policy update class, 6 hours of training with OC and baton, 16 hours of mental health training, 40 hours of defensive tactics training, 12 hours in the Milo simulator training, 8 hours of tactical communication, and 16 hours of first aid, CPR, and tactical combat casualty care. Seems like a lot of hours. And, some of the time when we went to this training, for example, we were at Pitches Detention Center up there at Castaic Lake, and at some point it reached 105 degrees. And nobody complained. Everybody came back from lunch. It was good to see that there was a commitment level on your guys' part, showing up to that training and going through that heat, which I actually got to sit around and watch you guys work, which was entertaining for me. But despite wearing the black shirts and wearing these gray pants, which track heat, you guys managed to push through. So I appreciate those efforts. Majority of the training was conducted by our own probation staff, which we're proud of. In the past, a lot of these academies were conducted by outside vendors. The majority of it has been conducted by staff that are probation officers. I'd like to thank some of those who were involved. R.B. Bogosian, Sherry Cruz, Misty Della Riva, Miguel Medina, Carla Crowder, Eddie L.Y., Mark Tena and Michael Davis, who taught a class while they were in the academy, George Alva, Amir Safir, and John Perico, and most of our secretary, Gloria Barnes, who put together the programs and the certificates for us. So I'd like to turn the time over to our class representative, is Ramsey Patron.
Gotta put these on. I'm not as young as I used to be when I started the department. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us physically or virtually. First and foremost, the Armor Request Academy 2. We'd like to thank Chief Leyva. Thank you for allowing us to attend and complete this Armor Request Academy. To all the dignitaries that are currently present or participating virtually, thank you as well. We would like to thank our families, friends, peers who supported us from home throughout these 2 months. For you are the true heroes, and we couldn't have done it without your support. We would like to thank all the staff here at the Probation Training Center, because without them, there wouldn't be no academy. Starting with SDP O'Brien, the Armed Academy coordinator. And Mr. Bryan was with us 100% of the time. He was the first to greet us, take our temperature at the beginning of every class, no matter where, the location, or time. He also made sure we were prepared for every class by answering any question we might have had, letting us know what to wear, whether it be PT gear, business casual, or uniform. Now, SDPO R.B. Bogosian and SDPO Sherry Cruz. Thank you for the workouts. This dynamic duo were our force instructors, and during the academy, we went over the following curriculum: stance, strikes, kicks, elbows, blocks, control holds, takedowns, choke holds, gun retention, handcuffing, searching. So when I mean thank you for the workouts, I mean that's all we did for 8 hours. The following day was always, and then try to do that in 3-digit temperatures and wearing a mask at the same time. That was pretty amazing, and we did it, right? The day after any force class was the funniest because it looked like a movie set from Night of the Living Dead. I mean, everybody showed up walking like zombies because of how sore we were. I mean, if you dropped it, then you just pretty much kicked it to wherever you were because you didn't want to squat down to pick it up. And then did I fail to mention that during this time, Miss Cruz was 30 weeks pregnant. And she never let up, so we could not complain. We would also like to thank everyone from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the range masters out at Peaches Detention Center, and the CCC trainers. They were phenomenal. We learned a lot from them. Finally, I would like to thank someone we all know and remember, but sadly is no longer with us. And that's Supervising Deputy Probation Officer Eduardo Cordero. Mr. Cordero was one of the fighting forces who made this Armed Academy on Request program a reality, and the reason we are here today celebrating the second class. I had the pleasure of being present during the first Armed Academy on Request graduation, and remember him vividly saying that this program was a long time coming, and how proud he was to be able to be present during the graduation. Although he is not present with us today, I know he continues to watch over this program and has a big smile on his face as he watches the graduation of Armed Request Academy 2. I would like to ask if you would join me for a moment of silence in his honor. You guys could bow your head. Thank you, Mr. Cordero. Now, to the class. What an honor it is to stand up here in front of everyone and represent the Armed Request Academy Class 2. I am truly humbled and thank you for you choosing me. I feel like it shouldn't just be me up here, because every one of you made this class and I'm just but a piece of it, piece of the puzzle. During this academy, I got to meet some of my classmates for the very first time and reunite with others that I have not seen since the beginning of the pandemic. I've been working for the department for quite a bit, and I've always been amazed at the high quality of staff that the department hires, and this class was no exception. This class was comprised of staff from the MAT unit, co-located, domestic violence, GPS, emergency management, and AB 109, with no one under 10 years of experience, which made the class widely experienced and very interesting. The Armed on Request program is a new program, but one that has been highly requested. For some of us in this class, it's been a long time coming. Keep in mind that the Armed on Request program is a voluntary academy program with no additional pay bonus, and we were required to submit a request of interest, providing valid reasons why we would like the opportunity to be armed. We did this with no expectations other than the opportunity and the training that came with the program. The 14 of us were trained by some of the best our department and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has to offer. We learned how to manipulate our weapons, learned new personal weapons and freshed up on some of them. We honed on our communication skills, learned on how to deal with mentally ill clients, learned how to administer treatment to wounded peers, probationers, and ourselves during our CCC training. We learned different ways of engaging a hostile threat in situations that might not precipitate us unholstering our duty weapon, and those situations that did require us to draw our duty weapon. All of us here have been able to de-escalate or verbally talk our way out of trouble until this point of our career. Considering the current climate and public perception of law enforcement, we may need a little more than the give gab to make it home safe and unharmed. I am confident that with this training and the added tools, that our loved ones can rest that much easier, knowing that we can now defend ourselves if confronted with a life and death situation. Now, throughout this journey, we learned a lot about ourselves. We became family and developed a bond that will never be broken. Although this class is of a serious nature, we did have fun. And there are some memorable moments that I should mention. In the range, we learned that going Ricky Bobby fast may not always be the best answer nor the most accurate down the range. In the simulator, we watched Mr. Andrews and Mr. Davis provide some good entertainment as they both pulled the trigger a little bit too fast. We also learned that under pressure, Mr. Crisanti taught the class in the elevated heart rate firing drill, and thus became the rock of the group. We learned that Mr. Perez and Ms. Martin were our two snipers and were the last two standing during a marksmanship drill. We learned that Velasco will never let you be transported out of the hot zone, just as Cervantes. That's an inside joke. They get it. We also learned that Mr. Tena was our hype man. No matter the task at hand, he was always trying to keep the class engaged and motivated by yelling, O2! 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 There you go. We all had a part in this class. Whether your contribution was subtle or provided some insight to a class topic, we made this class our own. We hope others like us will have the opportunity to attend training like this one. The Armed Academy on Request 1 and 2 will help pave the way for you. We also hope that we will never have to resort to using our weapon while on duty, but now that we have completed this academy and proven ourselves capable of utilizing this skill, we are both confident and ready. Now, to finish up, to wrap it up, our class motto is, "The line is hot." And let me explain how this came about and what it means to us. During our training at the range, there were 4 safety principles that we had to follow in order to make sure we were safe during the firing portion of the training. 1 was treat all weapons like they're loaded. 2, never point your muzzle at anything that you're not willing to destroy. 3, never put your finger on the trigger unless you have made that conscious decision to press it. And finally, always know your target, what's behind it and beyond. These 4 simple principles guided us during our range training. In line with the safety principles, we also had to know the condition of our weapon. Cold meant your weapon was unloaded and the chamber was clear. Hot meant your weapon was loaded and a round was in the chamber. At the beginning of each firing drill, we would all line up facing our targets side by side. Our weapons were cold until we were instructed to administratively load our weapons and rack the slide, making them hot. The range master then would have everyone look and check the person next to you to make sure that they had their eyes and ear protections on. Then proceeded to yell out, "The line is hot," at which point the drill will begin and we proceeded to shoot. This line resonated in all of us because it's purposeful and it speaks to officer safety. And this could be applied to anything during the course of your daily duties, no matter if it's an office visit, field contact, or at the range for that matter. There are steps we all need to take to make sure we are informed, prepared, and always safe. So, I'm going to request Class 2 from this point on, the line will forever be hot. Be safe.
Now we'd like to hear from our special remarks from Peter Schutan, one of our probation commissioners.
Good afternoon. Congratulations. I wanted to come here today mainly to show you that we're supporting this program, the Probation Commission. I am a big believer in this program. Just a little history. I was part of a group in 1996 at the CLEAR program our first year that were pushing the probation department to have an armed team. And the then chief, Shumsky, absolutely did not want his deputies armed. And we ended up going before the Board of Supervisors, who put it on the agenda. And basically, I think it was 98 at that point, basically forced the chief to create an armed division. The day that was passed, Chief Shumsky, I had said to him, it's about time we did this, and he said, if my officers need to be armed, they shouldn't be in the field. And my response to that was, your officers have needed to be armed, and they've been in the field for a long time. and the Board of Supervisors agreed with that. I'm a big believer. I think that the clientele that we have at probation is such, and especially depending on your assignment, that you need to have the ability to protect yourself. Even in the halls and the camps now, my belief is that 85–90% of our minors are gang related or gang involved. And so that I think a very large percentage of our population, of our probation population, are people who we need to be careful around. They're angry, especially the minors, and the adults too. So I wanted you to know that I'm a big believer in what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. There's people in this room that I've worked with for years. I was a prosecutor for 32 years with the city of LA and did gangs for 26. And I was part of the original CLEAR team in 1996. And I worked with Bedrosian and Brian Call and everyone who's been, well, until I retired, everyone who had been at CLEAR. And one of my closest friends in the department was Eduardo Cordero. And I worked with him and Mary Ridgway and Tim Brown and James Lewis and Nora Perez, all of whom were the gang folks before they were armed. And they did incredible work. So in whatever assignment you're in, I hope that you're able to keep safe, that you're not required to remove your firearm, but that you're able to, and able to competently when and if it becomes necessary. So I congratulate you, wish you well, and Godspeed.
I'll leave my mask on so he doesn't have to clean it. Now we'd like to hear from our Assistant Chief, Brandon Nichols.
I'm gonna take my mask off, you can't hear me otherwise. And it always catches on my glasses, I hate that. Give me a second. So I'm Brandon Nichols. I'm Chief Deputy, #2 guy in the department, and I'm here on behalf of Chief Leyba to thank you all for volunteering for this. First I want to say, if you turn in your hymnals that says commencement address, it's not going to be a commencement address. I don't have a prepared speech. I'm not going to tell you a funny story. And Officer Patron's a hard act to follow. I think he has said a lot of what needs to be said, but I do want to be here to thank you very sincerely, not only on behalf of the chief, but on behalf of the department, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors in the county, and on behalf of the community. You know, in a pandemic, this is an unprecedented time, and in a time when people are questioning careers and justice, you all step forward. You step forward voluntarily to say, I want more of this. I want to lean in. I want to serve the community better. I want to develop myself. And you know, it's not just about carrying a gun. That's not what Armed Academy, as you all now know, is just about. It's about developing your professional skills. How do you deal with a crisis situation? How do you talk to someone differently? How do you stay cool when the person on the other side of the table is getting hot? You have now learned that. And you're going to take it, and I've looked at some of what some of you do, not in a creepy way, but I wanted to know who I was talking to. You're going to take that and you're going to go work with embedded in some agencies. You're going to work in emergency circumstances. You are going to help make the community safer on behalf of us, on behalf of the county, on behalf of the community. I want to thank you for that. 160 hours. You have voluntarily agreed to do 160 hours to develop yourself professionally. That's remarkable. Like I said, at a time when most people are thinking, you know, most people telecommuting, not going into the office. A lot of people questioning careers and justice. You have stepped up and stepped forward. I guess I also want to say the certificates we're about to give you are recognition not only of your commitment and your professionalism, but of the trust we have in you. You are the kind of people that the department needs, and again, that the community needs, and we are very proud to have you out there wearing our emblem on your chests, and now trusting you to carry a gun on your hips. That's what we want. You are the second class. I will say that the chief is very committed to having a third and a fourth class, and you guys are going to go out there and demonstrate that trust is deserved, and you're going to pave the way for class 3 and class 4, and we are going to grow as an organization, both in reputation and in professionalism. So with that, I think I'm just going to say congratulations, and I think Adam and I are going to hand out some certificates.
Yeah. No, I'll move this. Emmanuel Andrews. Nathan Bill.
Yeah, I don't want to break the rules, in front of a camera especially.
Okay.
But thank you. Good.
Claudia Cervantes.
Intelligence mask.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Cuevas.
Congratulations. Thank you.
It's not smart, I promise.
You can't tell.
Alan Davis.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Chet Johnson.
There you go. Thank you.
Paul Crisante.
Yeah. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Valerie Martin.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Ramses Patron.
Thank you. Nice job.
Yeah, you're a good talker too. I like that. Weird pictures with these things.
Jose Perez.
Sure it is.
There you go. Thank you.
Jonathan Rankin.
Congratulations.
Mark Tena.
I'll take one.
Wait, I want to get a picture with the fist bump.
And last but not least, Rodolfo Velasco.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You made it. It's all downhill from here.
So I'd like to close it out with our director of our training center for some closing remarks, Catherine Falcon.
I got the hand sanitizer. I just want to reiterate the thanks and the dedication. I really appreciate what you guys have stepped forward to do during this pandemic, advancing your careers, doing things to keep yourself safe and safety of others. And there's one thing that I can think of right away when it comes to this type of training and the curriculum that you guys went through. And it draws back to CAMP and DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. And there's something in DBT, some of you may know it or may not, maybe you'll research it later, but wise mind. Just remember to stay in your wise mind and go back to your teachings and the curriculum you went over and use your best wise judgment in all that you do. And be safe. Thank you to everybody who's participated online, on Facebook, to your friends and your family, and I'm sure some of you, your kids are watching. We appreciate you all. Thank you for being part of the probation family. Thank you for staying connected to us. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you to your families and friends and coworkers for assisting you guys get through this during heat, during fire, during pandemic, and everything else that came your way. And I'm sure some kids had a Zoom in between and things like that. So we really appreciate you and all that you do and all the commitment, and stay in your wise mind all times. Thank you very much.